Hey everyone, so today we are going to discuss statements in SQL. So when you do CRUD operation in SQL, you have to write the statement. So when you do CRUD operation like create, read, update and delete in the SQL or DBML software, you have to write the statement, then you can perform the CRUD operations. So let's see, there are different types of statement present in the SQL. So as you are know, SQL stands for a structured query language. So when you to perform the CRUD operation in SQL, you have to learn the different statements in SQL. So let's talk about the types of SQL statement. So generally there are five types of SQL statement as you see. So first one is the DDL statement. So DDL, data definition language. So later we will discuss one by one. So I am giving you overview of the statement. So first is DDL, data definition language, and the second is DML. DML stands for data manipulation language. Data manipulation language. And the next third is TCL, transaction control language. TCL stands for transaction control language. And the next is DCL, data control language. And the next is DQL, data query language. Data query language. So these are the five statements present in the SQL. So we will discuss one by one in the upcoming lecture. So now I am giving you overview of all the statements. So each of them. So I am giving you overview in this video. So in the next upcoming video, I will discuss in detail one by one. So first is data definition language. So what is the main purpose of this statement? So as I said, a statement you write in the SQL, then you have to get some result. Okay. So this DDL is used to change the structure. If you need to change the structure of table, if you need to change the structure of a schema or model, you can say that. So you have to use the DDL command. So data definition language. So common command in DDL is like create. So create, either you can create a new database, yeah, either you can create a new table. So create a statement is used for. So create is a statement, create is word. So it is used to create a new table, a new database. Similar, alter means modify the existing table. If you have table and you have to change the name of the table, yeah, you have to change the data of the table, you have to do the alter. Okay. And next is drop the table. Suppose you have to delete the table. You have table and you have to delete the table. So you have to use the drop the table. Okay. And the truncate. Truncate is the delete the data, not the table. When you use the truncate, it deletes the data inside the table. If you have table and there are so many data, so you have to delete all the data, but the structure of the table keep remain. So you have to use the truncate. So we will discuss in the upcoming video in detail how to use, and we will practice also. So next command is DML command. So data manipulation language. So it is used to work with data inside a table. So DML. So DML is used to where is used. So DDL is used to create the database table and the structure you have to create. Then you have to use the DDL. And in the DML, when you use the DML, so DML is used inside the table. You have to modify some data, you get the data. Then if you have inside if you have performed CRUD operation inside the table like adding the new data, modify the existing data. So you have to perform the DML command. Okay. So common DML command is like insert to add new data, update to modify the existing data, and delete to remove the data. Okay. So the next statement is data query language. So this is used for if you have to view the data, means you have to extract the data from the table, then you have to use the data query language. Either particular column, either particular row. If you have to extract a particular row or a column data, then you have to use the DQL statement. So data query language is the main common command is select. Like select, if we have to select a particular column, then the particular column record will be printed. Okay. So the next command is data control language. So it is also one of the statement in the SQL. Okay. So it is used to control the permission and the security of the database. Suppose you have database, okay, and you have to control, okay, you have to give the access, okay. Suppose this is suppose this is Manish, okay, and Manish, you have give the access to the database to Manish. So if you have give the access some database to particular user, you have to give some access to particular user, then you have to use the data control language. So there are two basic commands. Grant means you have to give some action, sorry, you have to give some access to the user, okay, and revoke means you have to take back the access from the user. Suppose in a company there are lots of developers and you have to database manager, you have to give some database access to particular developer, and when a developer left a company, then you have to remove those access. Okay. So next thing is TCL, transaction control language. So it is used to manage the transaction. So it is used to manage the transaction. Make sure, this is the most important statement. Make sure all the steps should be success or failure in the transaction. All the steps should be either success or either failure. So if you have to manage the transaction, then you have to use the transaction control language. So the common command is commit. Commit means save the changes permanently. If you have to change some, if you have to save some change permanently, then you have to use the commit command. Okay, then the next is rollback. You have to undo the changes. Means if you have done some changes and you have to back from the changes, then you have to use the rollback. And the next command is save point. So if set it is set at the checkpoint to return a letter. Suppose you have to set some checkpoint, and if you want to return something after some interval of time, yeah, after some time, then you have to use the save point. Okay, and I have make you one summary table so you can easily remember what is DDL. DDL stands for data definition language, and it is used for define the structure of the table, yeah, define the structure of the database, yeah, define the structure of model or schema. So if you have to perform the structure related things, then you have to use the DDL command. And data manipulation language. If you have to manipulate the data inside the table, like insert the new record and update the existing record. So if you have these types of operation inside the table, then you have to use the DML command. So DML stands for data manipulation language. And the next command is the DQL, data query language. Okay. So fetches the data from the table. So data query language is, suppose this is a table and you have to, if you have to extract the record particular column by a particular row by, then you have to use the DQL. Okay. The next is DCL, data control language. If you have to give some permission to some user, if you give some permission to some existing user, some upcoming user, then you have to use the DCL command. And the next is TCL, transaction control language. Okay. If you have to use the transaction related query, then it must use the TCL. And in TCL, what is that? It is manage the transaction. Make sure all steps should be succeed or failure together. It can't be partially success and partially failure. No, it's not possible. In transaction, either full succeed, yeah, either full failure. Okay.